A garage door hit his head. So why did this claim become $84,000? Garage door tapped a worker on the head. The hospital checked him thoroughly. Everything looked normal. But here's the thing though, that minor injury eventually became an $84,000 disability claim. And if you're an employer or a risk leader, you're probably thinking the same thing I was. How does something this small turn into something that big? Well, today I'm going to show you exactly how that happens. I'm Dr. Cadet, the founder of Ascend Occupational Medicine Consulting, and at Ascend, we help self-insured employers lower their workers' compensation costs by providing medical oversight that actually works. And what I'm about to show you is something that I call claim drift. Because once a claim starts drifting, the costs rarely stay small. So, this worker was delivering produce. A garage door fell, hit him on top of the head. He went to the emergency room. The doctors evaluated him carefully. Brain scan, normal. Neck scan, normal. Nerve test, normal. They diagnosed him with a bruise on his head, a headache, and a mild concussion. They told him to rest for 2 days and then return to full duty. So at this point, most employers are thinking, okay, unfortunate incident, but a simple claim. And honestly, at this stage, they're probably right. Well, about 2 months later, the worker changes healthcare providers. He started seeing a chiropractor. And this is where claim drift quietly began. New symptoms started to appear: neck pain, limited range of motion, talk of nerve irritation, talk of balance problems. Eventually, he was placed on temporary total disability, meaning he was removed completely from work. Now, here's what most employers are thinking at this point. Wait, weren't all the tests normal? Exactly. And this is where another concept comes up, something I like to call subjective expansion. Subjective expansion happens when a claim begins to grow based on symptoms that depend on how a person feels rather than on clear, objective medical findings. In other words, the story of the injury starts expanding faster than the medical evidence supporting it. You might think claim growth happens as a reasonable response to an injury, but actually, many claims expand because subjective findings start replacing objective ones. For example, the person says they can't move their wrist all of the way. Range of motion depends on how far someone chooses to move, unless there's a fracture or some other physical deformity. Grip strength depends on effort. And so once subjective symptoms begin driving the case, the narrative can grow much larger than the original injury. Then the case reaches a qualified medical examiner or a third-party doctor who almost serves as like a tiebreaker in the case. And this is where things escalated dramatically. The QME came back with an impairment rating of 12% for the headaches, which he attributed to a major nerve problem in the brain, 9% for balance issues, again attributed to a major nerve problem in the brain, 8% for neck strain, for a total of 26% whole person impairment. In other words, 26% of the person's body is not functioning appropriately, it's impaired. Now here's the part that makes this case so instructive. Not all of those findings were supported by strong objective evidence. Headaches do not automatically mean there's a major nerve problem in the brain. Balance problems were never documented early on in the evolution of the case. Brain imaging was normal. The only diagnosis that clearly aligned with the medical evidence was the neck strain, which was rated at an 8% impairment rating. But this is why this matters, because 8% and 26% are not just medical numbers. These are financial numbers that drive how much money the employer ultimately pays on the claim. So let's zoom out. This claim started with a garage door hitting someone on the head. They've got a normal CT scan of the brain. They have a normal nerve exam. They come back to full duty work in 2 days. But without early strategic medical oversight, the claim narrative expanded 2 months later when the worker began treating with a different healthcare provider, one who probably doesn't understand workers' compensation well. Now, this isn't because the injury didn't happen, but because no one controlled the trajectory. And once claim drift takes hold, the system tends to reinforce it. The key takeaway for employers is if someone has a head injury at work, you need strong documentation early. Take the worker's statement. Watch for sudden work restrictions that appear without any new evidence. Question long-term disability when the medical basis isn't clear. Because when claims are tightly managed early, small injuries stay small. But when they're not, that's when a tap with a garage door becomes an $84,000 claim. If this breakdown helped you understand how workers' compensation claims really escalate, subscribe to Ascend TV. We analyze real cases so employers and risk leaders can make better decisions earlier. You can also join our email list and register for our upcoming webinar, The 4 Claims No One Wants and How to Spot Them Early. And if you're tired of watching claims drift out of control, book a strategy call with us today.